from what I have seen, from what I have analyzed, and the conclusions that I have reached.
Then the white man is no longer the devil, and he is no longer bound to be evil?
Why judge a man by his conscious behavior? I am not a racist. I don't subscribe to any of the tenets of racism.
Then there are good whites and good blacks and bad whites and blacks.
It's not a case of being good and bad, good or bad blacks and whites. It's a case of being good or bad human beings.
Hello, welcome to Melanin and Albinoid Live. I am Lady Abimbola. Happy 2020. This is actually my first blog for this year. Well, as you all know, I'm a spokesperson against the gang stalking program, the racist system, and the abuse of the fundamental human right. I've taken like some steps, not backwards, but I've kind of like relaxed a little bit to get myself together. As I saw this program, as passionate as I am with this program, and as so much, I begin to find that I became a little bit bitter in my quest and irritated in my quest to find a solution, and of course in the irritation towards the narcissistic gang stalking program and the racist system. Well, as a targeted individual myself for the past 15 years that I've realized, I realized the main focus of the gang stalkers and even the racist system is to demoralize the target through slander campaign and all kind of things. But not just that is my main concern. But this year, I want to focus on how the human being survived this period. First of all, I survived it by first looking back to my previous video. I believe I had a conviction from the Holy Spirit. The motive of my video actually is to encourage, to make awareness of the program and the system that is destroying the human race, and also to talk about how we can find solution to it together. Malcolm X was aware in his time the same thing we're still battling today. A system formed against the melanin people, but are the melanin people even trying at all to destroy a system that refused to let us go? One, to make being melanin a crime, to place most especially the educated melanin on the continuous harassment, or try to win them over to benefit the albinoid race. Police harassment and criminalization of the melanin people, theft of the melanin organ, blood, and so on in the hospitals, forced unemployment to keep the melanin in the position of vulnerability, to be easy enslaved, abused, and misused, segregation to keep far away but close enough to be abused, but not separation. The albinoid fear separation from the melanin race. Their survival depends on the melanin people, a system behind sex perversion, MK Ultra, sex slaves, pimping of the innocent and vulnerable, behind drug peddlers, child pornography, organ harvesting of the melanin people, blood theft in hospitals. The list is endless. They refuse to let us go, but they refuse to accept us. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. If you pull it all the way out, that's not progress. Progress is the healing, the wound that the blow made. And they haven't pulled the knife out, much less healed the wound. They won't even admit that the wound even exists. So how do we solve this situation about a system that has been established for so long, a system we as a race have tolerated for too long? Well, personally, I do believe in one thing. I believe in the power of prayer. And while I believe in the power of prayer, I believe also in the prayer of power. We do not wrestle against flesh and blood. We wrestle against principalities, powers, rulers of the darkness of this world, and spiritual wickedness in high places, which seems to be so rooted in basically a particular race. But We as a race are the only ones that can fight for this race on our knees and with actions. Not just words, but also with actions. Listen to this.
The world has made being black a crime. I intend to make it a virtue. That the world has said black history is a curse. That black freedom is a pipe dream. That black hope is a joke.
Black Wall Street is a clear proof of the attack on the melanin economics. They are still aiming to take all the rich melanin for their own benefit, deny our community of wealth. Only some of us see their hidden agenda, looting us through setting us up for problems, so we waste our finances on lawyers, theft of melanin, divide and rule between the field and house slave mentality, looking out for each other. We need to protect our community and begin to plant seed of a lifetime in our community. Listen to this.
Mature. And then we will, whenever we get ready to cast our ballot, that ballot will be cast for a man of the community who has the good of the community at heart. The economic philosophy of black nationalism only means that we should own and operate and control the economy of our community. You would never find, you can't open up a black store in a white community. White man won't even patronize you. And he's not wrong. He got sense enough to look out for himself. And you who don't have sense enough to look out for yourself. The white man is too intelligent to let someone else come and gain control of the economy of his community. But you will let anybody come in and control the economy of your community. Control the housing, control the education, control the jobs, control the businesses under the pretext that you want to integrate. No, you're out of your mind. The economic philosophy of black nationalism only means that we have to become involved in a program of re-education to educate our people into the importance of knowing that when you spend your dollar out of the community in which you live, the community in which you spend your money becomes richer and richer. The community out of which you take your money becomes poorer and poorer. And because these Negroes who have been misled, misguided, are breaking their necks to take their money and spend it with the man. The man is becoming richer and richer, and you're becoming poorer and poorer. And then what happens? The community in which you live becomes a slum. It becomes a ghetto. The conditions become run down. And then you have the audacity to complain about poor housing in a run-down community. While you run it down yourself when you take your dollar.
The racist system is behind the mass criminalization of the melanin people. The lies, shame campaign, propaganda, police brutality are all strategy to cripple a race they want desperately to enslave for their own benefits. Now, watch this.
Simpson was charged with murder. And in a court of law with a jury of his peers, he was set free. A lot of folk didn't like that, so they sued him. And he lost in court because even though he was not convicted of murder, they said he's responsible. White folk are rich and powerful, the rich and powerful, because black folk worked for 310 years as chattel slaves and got not one day's pay. I could call out the rich and the powerful whose riches have been gotten on our backs, but I'll save that for another time.
Either we are aware of it or not, all our mobile phones, tablets, computers, laptops are being cloned by a system that continuously abuses our privacy, steal ideas from our computers, to cyber theft. Organizational pretend to give you free laptops that are cloned. They steal ideas from people continuously, and majority do not realize this. Our emails are read by these delinquents where they publicly discuss our private lives. I cannot even understand why the melanin feel watching these criminal minds will change anything. Watch this.
To keep you and me in check, keep us under control, keep us passive, peaceful, and non-violent. That's Tom making you non-violent. It's like when you go to the dentist and the man is going to take your tooth. You're going to fight him when he starts pulling. So they squirt some stuff in your jaw called Novocaine to make you think they're not doing anything to you. So you sit there and because you got all that Novocaine in your jaw, you suffer peacefully. Blood running all down your jaw. And you don't know what's happening. Because someone has taught you to suffer peacefully. The white man do the same thing to you in the street. When he gonna want to put knots on your head and take advantage of you and don't have to be afraid of you fighting back. To keep you from fighting back, he get these old religious Uncle Toms to teach you and me that just like Novocaine, suffer peacefully. Don't stop suffering, just suffer peacefully. As Reverend Cleet pointed out, let your blood flow in the streets. This is a shame. And you know, he's a Christian preacher. If it's a shame to him, you know what it is to me.